All right, good morning, class of 2025. Today is Monday, May 4th, 2020. Let's buzz in. Oh, how did they get there? 6 days on the countdown until Miss Hall's birthday. All right, since we're on it, yes, my birthday is coming up, guys. Let's hop in. All right, so the vocabulary for this week is prominent. That's your word of the day. You need to find the definition of this word, create your own definition of this word, and create a sentence for this word. So first off, let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna shift into some poetry. So what we're doing is we're gonna understand different figurative language that we read in a poem. The reason why we're doing this is to break down the poem and the meaning behind the phrases or words to help us understand the poem. How we're gonna do this is we're gonna read and evaluate the figurative language and break down the real meaning. After reading the meaning, we will also answer questions about the poem. Okay. Then the poem will later relate to a nonfiction story that will still help us identify different words in the story. So may not be actual figurative language like we will see in the poetry when the author says something but don't actually say it. Maybe using a simile, a metaphor, personification as far as onomatopoeia, as far as like sounds, but author still uses that in nonfiction by putting different words that maybe we don't see every day into a paragraph where then if that word wasn't present, we would understand it more than the word that is there, right? So when I ask you, what do you think this word means in line 7? When a author says this, what do you think that means? All right. So I can show you better than I can tell you, but let's look for the words that we need to watch out for. So we have a sonnet. We know that a sonnet is 14 lines and is written in a written in the pentameter. Okay. So the rhymes of a sonnet are arranged according to the certain rhyme scheme. So a rhyme scheme, remember, that's when we were labeling our poem, the end of our poems, as far as if starting with A and then going on down the chain of the alphabet. So if A was where we started, the next line either it ended with the same sound as A or it had a different sound, and we know that we labeled that B instead. Okay, and then so on and so forth. So if the end of the word rhymes with A, then you know that that would be A for that rhyme scheme, or B or C, and so on. Okay, so let's hop right on in. So, okay, guys, so we're going to be doing active learn, okay? So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm exiting out of student mode. I'm going back in as myself. So all this is under the day's work that you need today under Google Classrooms, okay? So you're going to log in. It's not showing me. It's not showing what I wanted it to show. So give me 1 second. I'm sorry. All right. So you're going to start with Deaf Be Not Proud. Now, in order to log on to Active Learn, you need to log in with your Google email and password that you would normally use, okay? Then you will go to Deaf Be Not Proud, which is the we do for today, okay? So what does the word sonnet mean in your own words? I said a sonnet has 14 lines that uses rhyme scheme. Okay? So that'll be a question that you need to answer on your own. So the poem is Deaf Be Not Proud. Deaf Be Not Proud is by Johnny Dunn. So we're gonna hop right on in. So along with hopping right on in, we're gonna look at some of these words are old English and it may not be something that we actually know, which is totally fine. I'm okay with that, okay? So All right. So let's go ahead and start reading. So remember, if we were reading this in class, doing this together, we know that we will mark up our text. First things first, we will mark up our title. So as a student, you could bring down the notes. See, it's not any notes here. So you will be able to change like the paragraph, the font, and all this. This is something you really don't need, but you can use. Okay, there go the notes. All right, so on the side of your article, you will have notes from me. So it's just saying that the poem is also known as Holy Sonic X, the 10th in the series that the author wrote about a religious theme. Okay, so that's just a little background knowledge. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So we're going to read this and then we're going to answer the question. So in order to move on to the next question, see how this is question number 2 because we answered question number 1 up here. In order to move on to the next question, when you are on active learn, you have to answer this question to move on to the next question. Okay? All right. So death be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful, for thou art not so. For those whom thou thinkest thou dost overthrown, die not poor death, not yet canst thou kill me. From rest and sleep, which but thou pitchest be, much pleasure then from thee, much more, much flow. And sooner our best men with thee do go. Rest on their bones and souls delivery. Thou art slaves to fate change, kings and desperate men, and doubt with passion, war, and sickness the will. And popular charms can make us sleep as well. And better than thou stroke, why swell thou then? One short sleep past, we wake eternally, and death shall be no more. Death thou shalt die. Okay. So just looking at this poem, no one, that was just a lot, right? That was a spoonful of like cinnamon. Y'all remember when we used to do the cinnamon challenge? A spoonful of cinnamon, nothing to drink. That was a lot, right? All right. So if we just look into this poem, we see that the theme of this poem will definitely be about death, right? And you can use this tool up here if it was words that you didn't understand to find out what the words mean, okay? So it's really cool. So let's look at this poem. Death be not proud, thou, though some have death be not proud. So death is not something that's proud, something that you want, even though people have called thee. So when they're saying call thee, meaning you may not want death to come, but death is gonna come. So the people that call thee are the people that die. Okay. So as we're looking at this poem, we're trying to unpack what the author is actually saying, okay? So, speaking of what the author is saying, let's think about the different devices that we have. So, I gave you these devices in our slide. So, you see what each device that we're that's mentioned in the question actually mean. So, you have alliteration, same letter or sound at the beginning of a closely connected word, okay? Then you have personification. So, it's a personal nature or human characteristics, give it to something that's non-human. Okay, repetition. So it's something that's being repeated that have already been said or written, right? So the allusion, it expresses the signs to call something to mind without actually mentioning it. Okay. So we have what they actually mean. This is also in your folder for today. Let's go back. So what poet device does Donnie use in suggesting that death should not be proud and is not slaves of fate. So we have alliteration. We already talked about what that means. It can be alliteration because alliteration is same letter as sound at the beginning of just the closely connected words. And that's not what's going on in this poem, right? Personification. What would be given human qualities? I just want you to look at that. So I want you to go and look at these four words and what they mean. So repetition is something being repeated that already been written. I see death being said over and over again, but they're not saying death be not proud, death be not proud, death be not proud. They're saying death and using different words and different sayings to go along with that, or different meanings of what the author is actually trying to say. So we know it's not repetition. Illusion. Is this saying something um that we already mentioned? Well, that we're not actually mentioning? No, it's talking about exactly what it is, death, right? So we don't definitely know it's not those two at the bottom. And then alliteration. Hmm. So we're looking back over alliteration, same letter or sound at the beginning of or closely connected words. Human qualities, characteristics given to non-human things. Alliteration and personification is what we're looking at. I just want you to think about that. Alliteration is the same word, same every sentence. Okay, and now just think about that. I want you to answer this one. Which one? Right before Miss Howell picks her answer, which one do you think it is? If you picked personification, you are correct because we are giving death that human quality, right? Death is not actually human, even though we see it in the movies as an actual person or actual thing. It's actually not. We know that, but we're still giving death all these human qualities, even though it's not real. All right, submit that. See that that's correct. Now we get our third question. What is suggested by the line, rest of their bones and soul's delivery? Does it mean the men are not actually dead but asleep? Rest of their bones and soul's delivery. Let's go back up so I can read that one more time. So it's right here. Rest of their bones and soul's delivery. Go back up one more line. And soon as our best men with thee do go. So you can highlight and take notes. Much pleasure then from thee, much more must flow. Go back up again. So I'm start here. Die not poor, death nor yet canst thou kill me from rest and sleep, which by thou pictures me, which is where death pictures you. Much pleasure, then from thee much more must flow. As soon as our best men with thee do go, rest of their bones and soul's delivery. Hmm. What do you think the author is suggesting? The men are not actually dead but asleep. Are they talking about sleeping man in this poem? So we know right away not to even answer that question, right? The new soul enters the body at the time of death. Mm, the soul survives death, or the body survives death. Rest of their bones and soul's delivery. So it couldn't be the body serves death, right? Because it said rest of their bones, and their bones will be of their body. And soul's delivery. The soul survived death. Okay, I'm holding off on that one. I know it's not this one. A new soul enters. We know it's not the first and the last one. So we're looking at these two. A new soul enters the body at the time of death. The soul survives death. Much pleasure then from thee, much more must flow. As soon as our best men with thee do go, rest of their bones and souls deliver. I'm gonna go with C. Hey. So the explanation is a major theme of this religious poem is the soul's immortality. The idea that the soul does not die alone with the body, but continues to exist after physical death, soul delivery, suggests that the soul escapes from the body. Nice. And then the explanation for number two is that these lines and other throughout the poem, death is given human-like characteristics in poetry, device known as personification, which I explained that. All right, here go the last question. What reason does Dunny give in the poem for his declaration that the death should not be proud. Use examples from the poem. So this answer, I want you to. So when you get to this answer, I want you to answer this question on your own because I want to go back and I want to see the actual evidence that you gave me to answer this question. Okay. Okay. Cool. So you're gonna answer this fourth question, and then you're gonna submit it. And This will be your grade for the day, as far as did you follow along with Miss Hall's lesson? Did you do the we do? Then, along with doing the we do, then you're gonna go back after you do Deaf Be Not Proud. You're gonna go to Where Do Dreams Come From? All of this is in your class already. You're gonna read and answer questions. So you can't move on because you have to answer that first one first, and then move on to the next question. Then when you are done with that one, you will go to the next story. This story will be your independent practice, okay? So you're going to read and answer these questions just like you did with the one with me and the one that you're doing on your own, okay? So you have the we do, which is the one we did together, which you still need to submit those answers. Then you have the you do, which is the one about where do dreams come from. And then you have your practice. So you have this one as the we do, then you have this as your you do, and then you have this one as your practice. Okay, so you don't have IXL today. You actually have the same articles that we already read. It's the answer that you need to be answering for. Okay, so remember, in order to sign into Active Learn, you need to sign in with your Google account. So your Google email that you use for school with that password. Okay, that should work. Along with that, you have the materials, which is the we do. Where do dreams come from? You do. You finish this. How old should kids be to get a phone? Is your independent practice, and then your free write along that goes with the independent practice. You need to respond to that, okay? And it's right here, the video response, and then your vocabulary is here, okay? All right, guys. So today it's Monday. I want you to work hard. I want to see which scholars from which classroom will be the ones with the highest attendance and participation this week. Let's see, will it be like, will it be Roe Clark or will it be Jones? I cannot wait to see. I cannot wait to see who won. Have a great day, guys. See you guys later. Bye.